If you are living on Social Security, SSI, or disability, every single dollar matters. Missing even a small increase can mean skipping medicine, cutting back on food, or falling behind on bills. Higher Social Security payments are coming, and this is not a rumor. The big question is simple. How much of that money will end up in your hands? And how can you make sure you keep as much of it as possible? If you have new to my channel, please subscribe for more updates. Let's start with the first point. Every year, Social Security checks can go up because of something called a cost of living adjustment, often called a COLA. That sounds technical, but the idea is simple. When prices go up in the country, your Social Security is supposed to go up too, so that you are not falling too far behind. The government looks at inflation, which is just a way of measuring how much more it costs to buy things like food, gas, and clothing compared to before. If those prices rise, Social Security benefits are raised by a percentage to help protect your buying power. This is not a special bonus that may or may not happen. It is built into the law. The Social Security Administration studies price data, and once a year it announces a percentage increase for the coming year. In recent years, there have been some very strong increases. For example, there was an 8.7% raise that hit checks in 2023, which was one of the largest in 40 years, and another 3.2% increase in 2024. The exact number for the most recent raise may be different, but the key is that the process is the same. If you receive Social Security retirement, Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, survivor benefits, or most forms of supplemental security income, SSI, the cost of living increase normally applies to you. Now, what does a percentage actually mean for your wallet? A lot of people hear something like 3% or 4% and do not know how to turn that into real dollars. Think about it this way. Take your current monthly benefit before the new increase. If your Social Security check is around $1,500 per month and the new increase is 3%, you find 3% of that amount. 3% of $1,500 is $45. That means your new check would be about $1,545 before things like Medicare premiums. If your check is around $2,000 and the increase is 3%, 3% of $2,000 is $60. Your new check would be about $2,060. If your benefit is $1,000, the same 3% would give you $30 extra. These are just examples, but they show how a small percentage turns into real money month after month. What matters is that the higher your base benefit, the more each percentage point adds for you. It also means the longer you have been on Social Security and the higher your original amount, the bigger the raw dollar raise. And remember, these increases are not one-time payments. They are built into your new monthly income going forward, and each future raise builds on that new, higher amount. That is like getting a small raise at work every year, not just a single bonus. If you have new to my channel, please subscribe for more updates. This automatic raise also covers more than just retirement checks. If you are on SSDI because you cannot work due to a disability, your check goes up by the same COLA. If you are receiving survivor benefits based on a late spouse's work record, you also get the raise. If you are on SSI, which helps people with very low income and limited resources, the federal SSI maximum amount usually increases by that same percentage as well. Many veterans' disability payments and some other federal benefits are also tied to this same cost of living adjustment. So when you hear that Social Security payments are going up, it often means a chain reaction of increases across several programs that support older adults and people with disabilities. There is another important part to this story. The amount you get from Social Security each month also depends on when you started your benefits. If you took retirement at 62, you locked in a lower base amount. So each percentage increase adds a little less in dollars compared to someone who waited until full retirement age or until age 70. On the other hand, if you worked longer and delayed claiming, your base benefit is higher, so every COLA gives you more in actual dollars. The main idea is that the cost of living raise does not change the basic rules of how your benefit was calculated. It simply takes whatever you are getting now and multiplies it by the new percentage. So, to finish this first point in plain language, your Social Security is going up because the law says your benefits must be adjusted for the rising cost of living. The exact amount you get depends on your current check and the announced percentage, but it is real money, and it lands in your account automatically if you are already on benefits. That is the foundation. Now let us move into the second point, which is just as important for your day-to-day life. When and how you will see these higher payments, and how much of that raise you actually get to keep after other deductions. It is one thing to hear about a percentage on the news. It is another thing to see a different number when you check your bank balance. For Social Security Retirement and SSDI, the new higher benefit usually begins with the payment you receive in January of the new year after the announcement. The actual day depends on your birth date and the Social Security payment schedule. Many people are paid on the second, third, or fourth Wednesday of each month. If your birthday is early in the month, you may be paid earlier in the month. If your birthday is later, your payment may come later. But the important part is that when the new year's payments begin, your raised amount is already built in. You do not need to file a new application or send in a form to get the COLA. It is automatic for people already receiving Social Security. If you receive SSI only, the schedule can be a little different. SSI is paid on the first of the month in most cases. When the first falls on a weekend or holiday, the payment may come on the last business day of the previous month. The new, higher SSI payment based on the COLA usually begins with the payment dated in January, which may actually arrive at the end of December. So if you are on SSI, you often feel that raise a few days before the calendar year officially turns. Now, here comes a detail that can surprise many older adults. The number you see on your Social Security award letter is your gross benefit. The number that lands in your bank account is your net benefit, after anything that is taken out. For most Medicare enrollees, the main thing taken out is the Part B premium. This is the monthly cost you pay for your outpatient Medicare coverage, which includes doctor visits and many other services. For many people, that Part B premium is taken directly out of their Social Security check before it ever reaches their bank. If the Medicare premium goes up in the same year as your COLA, part of your raise can be eaten up by that higher premium. For example, suppose your Social Security check goes up by $50 from the new raise, but your Medicare Part B premium goes up by $10. Your net increase would be about $40, not $50. That is still a raise, but not as large as the gross number might suggest. The good news is that there is a protection called the hold harmless rule for most people who have their Medicare Part B premium taken out of Social Security. This rule generally says that your Social Security check cannot go down from one year to the next just because the Medicare Part B premium went up. In years with small COLAs and big Medicare increases, this rule limits how much your premium can jump for those protected by it. But it does not always apply to everyone, such as some people who are new to Medicare or those with higher incomes who pay higher Part B premiums. Taxes are another piece of the puzzle. Social Security benefits can be taxable at the federal level if your total income from all sources is above certain thresholds. Those thresholds have not been updated for many years, which means more people gradually become subject to tax as benefits and other incomes rise. The raise you get from Social Security can slightly increase your taxable income. For some, that may cause a small rise in income tax or change how much tax is withheld. For others with low incomes, Social Security remains untaxed. The impact on taxes depends a lot on your whole financial picture: pensions, wages, investments, and so on. The Social Security raise itself is not a tax. It is extra money, but it can change some of the numbers on your tax return. At this point, if you find this kind of gentle, step-by-step guidance helpful, this is a good moment to pause and invite you to stay connected. If you want clear explanations like this, in simple language, whenever there are new changes to Social Security, Medicare, or senior benefits, take a second to subscribe for more heritage wisdom. That way, you have a calm, trusted voice to turn to every time the headlines start shouting about money and benefits. If you have new to my channel, please subscribe for more updates. Now let us go deeper into how this higher Social Security payment can affect other parts of your life. For some seniors, the raise also changes how much help they get from income-based programs. Many low-income older adults receive support such as food benefits, housing aid, or help with medical costs. Programs like SNAP, often called food stamps, Medicaid, Medicare savings programs, and housing subsidies often look at your income when deciding who qualifies and how much help they get. Social Security counts as income for most of these programs. When your Social Security check goes up, your counted income for those programs may go up too. If you were very close to an income limit, a higher Social Security check could, in some cases, reduce your benefit from one of those programs. However, Many agencies understand that cost of living increases are meant to keep people from falling behind. In many cases, the income limits for these programs are also adjusted over time to reflect rising costs. The goal is usually not to punish people for getting a COLA, but to keep support roughly in line with need. Still, the details can be complicated, and that is why it is important to open any mail you receive from benefit offices and read it carefully after a COLA year. If your help changes and you do not understand why, you can contact the program and ask for an explanation in plain terms. Now we move into the third point, which may be the most practical and powerful part: how to protect this raise and keep as much of it working for you as possible. Getting a higher Social Security payment is one thing. Making sure it improves your daily life is another. The first step is to know your own numbers. When Social Security announces a new cost of living increase, they send out notices showing your new benefit amount for the coming year. You can also see this by checking your Social Security account if you use one, or by looking at your January payment statement. Do not just toss that paper aside. Take a moment to compare the new number to what you were getting before. Even if you do not like math, you can simply look at last year's amount and this year's amount and see how much it changed. That difference is your raise before any deductions. Then look at the actual deposit in your bank. The difference between last year's deposit and this year's deposit is your real raise after things like Medicare premiums. If you have new to my channel, please subscribe for more updates. If you want to keep building that kind of practical, peaceful understanding about your money and retirement, do not let this be the last time you hear from a calm voice on this topic. Take a moment now to subscribe for more heritage wisdom, so that each time Social Security, Medicare, or other senior benefits change, you have a trusted guide to walk you through it slowly and clearly. You have earned every dollar of your benefits. You deserve to know exactly what you are getting and how to make it work for you.